can be insurance in this case.
Thank you, dear viewers of Smart 24 TV. We are viewable all over the country, now on Go TV channel 394. And we drive business while looking at that philosophy. This morning, with our dear guests, as we continue with our discussion, we are still very much concerned to give you information and possibly call upon you to partner with us, especially you insurance companies over there, and the government, especially the Ministry of Labor, to have this platform to share information for citizen social economic protection. What we are doing here initially, much as yes, this is an established company which is intending to give service to the population, but it's part of the duty. It's a corporate responsibility, but we call upon partnership. And our responsible and patriotic citizens who have just participated with us this morning, especially Mr. Darrell Milton, and a lecturer and a National Treasurer General for the University Professional Academic Staff Union, very much passionate. The time I met you, sir, you're very passionate for workers, and I cannot forget in my memories. And please keep it up as you work for the rights, very much tirelessly, for the rights of workers. And Mr. Okiru Dennis, he's really a passionate lawyer and a human rights activist. Are you also an activist?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you so much. We are continuing with our discussion. We don't want to miss anything. You were still taking us through Mr. Tudela Milton. In the next 3 minutes, I feel to give you more platform and then I will invite Dennis to reveal to us the concept of health insurance. Our desire would have been that we can have companies, I say it again, even which can cover the provisions which I see here, or the prudential which I just, it's a debt to you, to bring much more enlightenment among the other insurance companies. This is one of them. I'm not in partnership with you, but I picked on your branch for purpose of enlightening our populace. You talk about death claims requirements, you talk about certificate, copy of death certificate, original policy document, ID, policy report, completed intimation form, and so forth. You cover health, medical. You also cover the education, and there are also other kind of policy terms and conditions that we are inclined to. But in all this, we continue to feel much more is needed. And under the revised economy you talked about, the government should value this so much. During the time of the days of COVID-19, pandemic, all of us, we were not sure what next. In order your life to be secured, for instance, to get the oxygen, you need to pay a lot of money. I hear a certain group of Bagaga to Agarane, and in one of the members, much as they are rich, but it became too hot for them to raise the money that was, to be put into these intensive health care units where you could be needed. You need to pay over 100, 200 million all of a sudden because of the pandemic. Social service delivery, it is a mandate of the state, the social well-being of the citizen. With this insurance policy that was passed here, last at Parliament last year, a lot is still desirable. The government is, I do believe, I urge you, you seem to be taking too much time, the head of state, to make, to assent this to be now law so that our citizens can benefit from this. Kindly please take us through that as we also go to another discussion of the Nssf.
Thank you, Dr. Again, Chindieva. To the citizens, I want to inform you that health insurance is a matter of everybody. I want to remind you again that the last Parliament, under the leadership of Right Honorable Rebecca Kadaga, on 21st of March 2021, passed the health insurance bill, which is before the president and yet to be assented to. into an act.
So now whole year?
It's now a whole year. Maybe the next parliament should follow up. I mean, the current parliament should follow up.
Because this policy, as I just said, it's supposed to secure
was on cost sharing basis.
Yes, sir.
The employee has to pay some, and then the employer some, but to the benefit of the whole citizens of the country. Recall, as we have said, how should insurance really be important? I'm just going to list three issues. One, covers essential health benefits, critical to maintaining your health and treating illness and accidents. Like Council has said, very critical. But when you call issues of COVID, oxygen alone, many hospitals will say a deposit of 20 million shillings. So how many would really afford? And I'm sure that some people died because they couldn't afford the cost. Because one of the also important issues that health insurance will safeguard you against high medical costs if implemented. And of course, where even they can't, at least let them equip the health centers in the villages with the basic requirements. You go to health center, you are in need of health services. First of all, you may not see the health, the health practitioner. Even when you see him or her, the facilities are not available. Then it protects you from high expected and medical costs. You pay less if you have medical insurance. That's another very good. And two,
but this
there are things
the one we are talking about, we are still on the universal health insurance. As you know, you are still elaborating. Don't you think the government is expected to run faster?
Yes.
And implement this to secure the lives of many Ugandans?
Absolutely.
And what is likely to be a challenging policy, environmental atmosphere that causes this delay? You know, this is the point we analyze economic policies so that we can call upon whosoever is responsible to maybe adhere to our voice. We are the voice of the voices through this channel.
I think now we need pressure groups, especially the workers. If the workers, the federations of the workers, can take it up because it benefits the workers.
It benefits the workers.
And then we put pressure. Because all this is from a convention, like when we come to Nssf, we shall see the convention.
Yes, sir.
But again, how many of us really go for a checkup? To see at IHK, for example, to see a specialist is 60,000. To see a general doctor is 25,000.
Yeah.
For checkup.
And amid this, the difficult situation we are in.
Amid this, the difficult situation we are in, you can't even have money to buy a Panadol, but they are telling you to see a specialist for checkup. How is he? How is you? So we only go to hospitals when we can't afford it. I mean, avoid it. You are critically sick, then that's when you go to the hospital. But if you had insurance, regularly you go for checkups, you go for screening.
Because it is free.
Because it is free. But where none of the existence of such is, then at times we die, at times you will discover diseases that should have been prevented when they are already acute. If you discover that your sugar levels are high at an earlier age, then you are put on medication, then you can manage. But because of not having health insurance. Therefore,
yes, sir.
The insurance bill that was passed last year should be fast-tracked to become a national act.
Yes, sir.
And see how best our people can benefit.
Thank you for that, quite good information that you are sharing to Ugandans. And we are here to cause a change, a transformation. We are transformational agents. And this time around, we don't want to lament again. We count for many years why we are not turning into a middle income status. So those are some of the ingredients for which moves us, not a name, a statement. How is the health, the wealth, the socio-economic protection and progress of the people and the commitment of the government as Matt 24 TV, while analyzing the economic policies, will not have a wealthier population, a labor workforce which doesn't have social protection, and a lot needed to be invested there. There are some countries which have been able to be, to propel faster to middle income and first world countries because of taking these initiatives serious. Some countries have taken over right now 168. We have 60 years of independence. What are we waiting for? It is a challenge for me and you, but we must demand for it and work for it. Council, please. This was just my mere, inspiration.
Yeah.
And you can add on, if anything, and we'll go basically for Nssf.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor, for the elaborate highlights and the discussion you put to our viewers outside there. Still, I would like to say this medical insurance is not something new. It has been here. It has been here. Only the new law, the bill wanted that make it mandatory that everybody, a Ugandan, is insured medically. You get? So that in cases of challenges, for example, the COVID era, you realize every time I used to see memes on WhatsApp and they'd be like, you, a poor child, please put on a mask. You can't afford oxygen. You get? So if we had medical insurance, that's the time when we were supposed to start benefiting. But as doctors clearly stated, that most of us Africans, since we eat well, very often if someone is moving, you leave home, you go to office, you come back, you are alive, you don't cough, no one goes for medical checkup. So that's why people are very reluctant about medical insurance. Everybody will be like, oh, I take long to get sick. I took 1 year. And someone will be like, I can't take out this medical insurance. But this medical insurance has been here. And the insurance companies have been selling it. Only that the bill wanted to make it national, like everybody, every Ugandan to take course. Yeah.
Thank you so much. We will continue to motivate you and avail information to you. Prevention is better than cure. And we don't consider insurance companies and business. It's a business, right? It's not to extort money rather from you. It is intending to grant you social economic protection. There is what you said, and I echo on it again, that before you sign, you need to know which policy you're signing for. You know the benefits, you know the content, you know the terms, you know the condition. That is you, the responsibility of you citizen outside there. Whether you are working or not, just look at how you apportion your expenditure and count this expenditure to be for your good. There are moments when you are having money, you are doing business, you are nothing you are looking at to be of any problem, but you need to know that we are living in a life that is not permanent. In terms of conduct, in terms of what happens, eventualities, you be able to safeguard yourself for those eventualities. So that at a certain time, while you have done business and prospered, and while you are growing in this enabling environment of economic growth, possibly, where you can do some business, much as we are having challenges here and there, but you are able to know that I have my protection. When things goes, to the worst, I have this protection. My children, Prudential, after 3 years, there is a likelihood to benefit you after 3 years, and basically if you had challenges. Another time they will talk for themselves. But the National Security Fund, we are looking, what is the a relationship? This is now, the government has a policy. I'm not saying the government doesn't have a policy, as my colleague Milton says, Mr. Milton, that this government has been having laws, but they are shelved. I came to understand the National Security Fund when I joined the employment chain, the formal employment. That's basically from civil service, then the private, especially university, 2009. And that's when they began to say, okay, we're supposed to get 900,000, but there is Nssf. It's an appeal to all organizations, especially private companies, that Nssf is important. It is a motivating factor for workers, for purpose of productivity. That's number one. Number two, it lessens some vulnerability to the citizens. And that's why the law is in place. Kindly take us through let's begin with Milton. Mr. Milton Tudyaleba happens, as I again remind you, to be one of active labor unionist that has endeavored to fight, to advocate for the rights of workers. And workers are not only you who are working for companies, every worker these days, even there are those who are not unionized. And through this, there are some of the statutory obligation of companies and responsibility of citizens to know that you need to save, especially for your social protection. Nssf has been in existence, he will tell us. What has been a challenge with this existing organ and this fund? The recent amendment, which refers to a number of, some clauses, still citizens still to be not contented. To get this money after saving either through the organization working, saving for Nssf, to get this money back in time of difficulty, it seems to be with a lot of stringent touch on it. Yet this money is making business somewhere. Kindly arrest the citizens how they should be comfortable and continue to appreciate Nssf, of which myself I'm not against. It is a good idea, but it needs to be real. You are welcome, sir.
Thank you again, moderator, Dr. Tindiebwa, and my colleague counsel. Nssf is a broad thing, and when handled well, it actually becomes insurance itself, because it's about social protection, where you are saving for the future. You are saving for your old age.
Yes, sir.
And therefore, if handled well, will benefit the members. But when you recall, you find that Nssf has been or was enacted as an act of parliament in 1985. Of course, that time the law did not have some products that have come on board, like voluntary savings weren't there. But the law was clear then that everybody employing 5 people and above must register with the Nssf. But of course, there are challenges of registering. Of course, people don't declare. Some companies are not registered. Employees don't have formal employment. And these are hurdles that I think that Nssf as an organization also met. And of course, the few branches and staff, because if you have to handle every five employing farm, because it would mean that even when you have a farm at home, you should give employment letters or employment contract. These herdsmen or shamba boys what at home, so that they can also be able to contribute to Nssf, because the worker at the end of the month contributes 5%, and then the employer contributes 10%. That's where actually there has been an argument that the money is for much is paid by the employer, and therefore money is for the employers. But these are employee costs.
Employee costs.
And I think employment benefit standard 18, if I can call it in accounting, International Financial Accounting Standards.
Yes, sir.
These are employee costs. So when you employ me, and then you give me costs that are attributable as my benefits, then they cease to be employers' money. So the whole of this money to me belongs to the workers, and therefore should profitably be used for the workers to cater for their social protection.
Yes, sir.
Under Convention 102, according to ILO, International Labour Organization, Convention 102, it has put clearly what constitutes these social benefits. It talks about medical care,
yes,
old age, invalidity, survivors, sickness, maternity, employment injury, and unemployment. This is what the ILO expects any country to have in place in terms of benefits to the members from National Social Security Fund.
Even maternity?
Yes, according to ILO.
For women?
Yes.
But this is different here.
This is what I'm saying. This is according to ILO.
I agree with you.
This is what should be the
Actually, the reason why I think maternity is there is because our mothers, our aunties, our sisters, after giving birth, they go through a lot. Yeah. So at that point, you are supposed to be claiming.
But this is a
husband.
different story here. Come on, please.
And therefore, Nssf is a provident fund where the employer and the employees contribute to the same fund at the end of the month according to what will have been decided by the laws of the countries. So members, don't ask Nssf that why are you not
Offering money in a difficult
offering
times.
all these services as enshrined in ILO Convention 102.
Yes.
They always say that you bite what you can, you chew what you can bite. But however, we shall come again to the new benefits that have been introduced. Like I've said prior, we didn't have
simple inquiry. Are we seeking to this convention?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So don't you think then the government needs to take care of this law? Because that is not among the amendments, as you are still coming on, I'm not diverting you. They considered of the recent amendments other issues, but the beneficiaries, how to access the fund, it left out. Like, that is very pertinent. You have your wife and you are not working. You are not disabled. For them, they are saying, well, if you are disabled by accident. And yet your wife or someone outside there saying, hey, what can I do? My wife needs this and this in this time of difficulty. But you cannot access the fund to save your wife's life and to also save the life of another human being who is about to be born. I'm feeling passionate about it in addition to what I had in my heart.
I agree with you, Doctor, and passionately. But like I've said, they can have their challenges and say we are growing. Since it started in 1985,
Forward.
I'm sure it has gone into various stages of development and income generation and investments. And therefore, I think gradually, because they are bound by this convention, gradually I think all of the products will be on board. Like for example, I've said prior, there was no voluntary saving. Now, the question of 5 employees has been also lifted off. Even when you are one, you can register and save with the Nssf.
Those are some of the reforms.
The reforms in the new law. You see the dilemma with our population, and that's when it comes again back to sensitization and education. Is that prior people would think that you only save for the old age.
Yeah, and also as he said,
And the
assumption,
and the assumption was that old age, many of the costs will be medical. But you are going to medical when you don't have even a shelter. The moment you access your savings, assuming you have 300 million, and you clock 55, and all of it is given to you in lump sum, first of all, you might be tempted to go to business activity where you have no experience. And you lose all your money. So will you have saved for the old age?
No.
Or you have been living in a government house, which is posh, and then you are retiring to the village, where you have never built even a 2-bedroom house. Now you want to build a house of the same standard like you've been staying in. By the time you are on the windowsill, the money is finished. These are dilemmas. I'm trying to bring all this to arrive at a point where, as labor unions, we thought it wise that if you are to invest, you should invest when you are still energetic.
And the Nssf is one of the ways.
And the Nssf should act as the way of your source of that saving and investment.
I will hear the opinion of council, but I will have a question as we go for the break. I was part of the advocates for that, or subscriber, or to the view that why can't I, if after 10 years, but the good thing there's some provision, you talk about it, after 10 years of my savings, Nssf give my money, I use that money to make money, and then I continue saving, but as I use the other to make money, you don't keep it for me as you are making money and giving me a top up of some interest. I use that money if I'm still energetic to make money, and then I save for the future. Please stay tuned on Smart 24 TV. The discussion is quite interesting. You cannot go away. and you will get more insights about Nssf. It is not only for those who are working for government, the companies which are not yet adopting is important, and also those who are working level, you can save something, you register, and it is open for everybody. Please, thank you so much. We are still with our guests as we go for the commercial break. We meet in the last session, of which will end at 11. Thank you.